7 o'clock.
See that?
All right, are you gonna start?
This is.
Jeff?
Record, I didn't hit it last night.
We are recording.
School year.
All right, it's,
Gonna close the
we're
whole
gonna
site
call
this
the
summer
meeting of the
because there's
Finance
a lot of
Committee to
construction.
order
There's no other building going over
on
here.
March 16th,
19.
2022. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Clee. Alderman Camo is here. Alderman Gavea.
Here.
Alderman Clemmons.
Here.
Alderwoman Timmons.
Here.
Alderman Moran.
Here.
And Mayor Donches.
Here. We definitely have a quorum. And we also have Alderman Wilshire, Alderman Dowd, Alderman Tebow, Alderman Clemmons.
We have an echo.
We do have an echo in the chamber, Jeff, if there's anything you can do about that.
Somebody's getting feedback on their, not me, my
We
sound.
get the
All right.
computer.
It's me, I think we're good.
Public
Sound
comment,
off.
is there any member of the public who would like to speak to the Finance Committee? I see someone in the back of the room, I don't know, are you? No? Okay.
Hi, Lori Ortolano.
Yes, please proceed.
I saw on the agenda was Court Street, and I just wanted to give a few thoughts on that building. I know there's a special meeting at the end of the month to gather ideas on how to proceed with the Elm Street Junior High School building, to do something with that. And you know, I would like to see a lot of those arts programs that are over at 14 Court Street moved over to Elm Street. And it just seems like 14 Court Street is just such an expensive building to maintain. I sort of addressed at the last Board of Aldermen meeting my thoughts that there was a fire issue, communications issue in that building, communication lines. But Alderman O'Brien seemed to be shaking his head no, that I was wrong on that. And I'm sort of wondering why we haven't pursued selling that building and letting that go, given the extremely high costs associated with trying to operate it and fund it with tax dollars. See if a developer can do something better with it and, you know, move our programs over, our arts programs over to the big auditorium or theater over at Elm Street. That's all I have for input. Thank you.
All right, any other members of the public wish to address the committee? All right, we'll go on then to communications. First being from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager. Alderman Camo.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and approve a 3-year contract with Police App Recruitment Management System for the recruitment of sworn personnel in an amount not to exceed $33,000. Funding through Department 150, Police Department, Fund 55699, Other Contracted Services, General Fund.
And I believe we have someone from the PD here to address that. So either the microphone or one of the seats, whichever is more comfortable for you.
Speak here, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
We just need a short description of what the purpose is.
Sure, no problem. Thank you for letting me speak here tonight. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brian Kenny. I'm the captain of the Professional Standards Bureau with PE, and I oversee all the hiring and recruitment of new officers and civilian employees. It's no surprise to anybody here that recruiting and retaining current employees has been increasingly difficult over the past few years. So we located a company called Police App, which you have before you. And Police App, we're seeking approval to use Police App to help us with things like advertising to reach potential officers that exist across the country, certified officers. We're seeking their help with not only advertising and reaching people, but once we do reach people, get them in our process, they assist with the whole background investigation. So basically, they streamline the whole process for us and assist us in hiring people that much quicker. And once they're in the process, we can get them to the academy and hopefully get up to full staffing much quicker than we ever have in the past. And that's really the ins and outs of what they do. I'd be happy to answer any specific questions about what they do.
Anyone? And I didn't mention that, oh, you were here on the roll, right? You were here for the
Yes,
roll?
thank
Yes,
you.
okay, sorry. Alderman Timmons.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have one question. How successful is this app?
Oh, so we've done a little bit of homework, and they are pretty successful. We've talked to multiple area PDs that are already actually using this service and this company, and they all have rave reviews. We reached out to Portsmouth PD who use it, we reached out to Derry who uses it, Hudson next door is using it, and they all said that the number of applicants coming through the door is much higher after signing on with the police app.
I have a follow-up, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay, I have one other question. What is the cost associated with this app?
It's $11,000 for a one-year contract with the company. For 1 year with the company, the contract is a 3-year agreement, which is the $33,000 you see in front of you.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman Clemmons.
Just a technical question, would this have to come before the full board as well? Because it's a multi-year contract?
How many years are we contracting for? Is it more than one?
It's 3, yes, sir.
3.
I was under the impression it would have to go before the
Yeah.
full board.
So the
Okay.
answer is yes.
Okay.
All right, anyone else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Next, again, a communication from Kelly Parkinson, Purchasing Manager, Alderman Camone.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to accept, place on file, and approve the multi-year contract with Doty Landscaping related to the Nashua Downtown Riverfront Implementation Project in an amount not to exceed $180,000. Funding through Department 183, Economic Development, Fund 54280, Building, Grounds, Maintenance, Riverfront TIF Fund.
And I think Mr. Cummings is here.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the record, Tim Cummings, Director of Economic Development. This is essentially a maintenance, a landscaping contract to maintain the riverfront area. We issued an RFP last year. We are bringing the Doty Group under contract for a multi-year, 3-year contract, so this will need full board of Alderman approval. It's essentially a contract for about $30,000 a month, and it will be from the Veterans Memorial Parkway Bridge all the way to the Pan Am pedestrian bridge, the abutting riverfront along that area for essentially 8 hours of work a week, 1 day, if you will, of approximately 5-man crew to maintain the area, and then 2 cleanups, a spring and a fall cleanup. And then in addition to that, there's additional services at a charge on an hourly rate for things like graffiti removal or other things that may be necessary along the way, so we maintain the riverfront area here in Nashua. This was projected to be a little less than $200,000. We've come in under that. This is all covered under the TIF funds that we have set aside for this project.
Comments, questions? Alderman Camone.
Yes, thank you. Director Cummings, so if I understand this correctly, this is not a one-time, development of the parks in the area. This is an ongoing maintenance and upkeep of the riverfront itself?
Correct.
Thank you.
Anyone? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next, unfinished business, we have none. New business resolutions, R 22-017. Alderman Camone.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to recommend final passage of R 22-017.
And I think Ms. Kleiner is here.
Good evening, Kim Kleiner, Director of Administrative Services. About 9 months ago or so, the owners of Liquid Therapy reached out to us with some desire for extra space. Next door to Liquid Therapy, on the left-hand side, if you're looking at their establishment, there was about 3 to 4 rooms, depending on how you classify it, of really rough space, and I'll use the term closets, that were completely full of debris, and excess storage, that the city had placed there. The space wasn't being utilized. We thought it would make perfect sense to utilize the space. So our city crews went in, our building maintenance staff, which I have to give some applause to because it was a big feat for them to clean out this space and to bring it up to where it could be used for anything. And they did that while they were maintaining all our other city buildings. They brought it up to what I would consider a very clean space. It is can only be used for storage. So it has been made clear from our building department and from the fire marshal's office that this can be used for nothing else. There is a communications closet that has some fire communications lines that come into it. One of the stipulations with liquid therapy using this space for storage will be that they will not be able to place anything in front of this, and the fire marshal's office will have access to it 24/7. As I said, it's a very small space. It's about 857 square feet. The liquid therapy will be responsible for placing all shelving that's needed for the storage within the space. They will be responsible for the taxes, and our chief assessor has gone out and measured the space and estimated that on current tax rate to be about $590 a year in additional taxes. We're asking for $225 a month for the lease of this space. They will use this for they have started to can, so they will use this for the supplies of the canning that they are doing. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Alderman Clemmons.
Thank you. So this is a project that I was approached by Stan at Liquid Therapy for. You know, he is expanding his business and asked me about a year ago, I think, at this point, if it would be possible to expand into the unused space next door. And so, as Ms. Kleiner had said, I approached the city, and you know, Kim's department took that on, and she's been working on that for the last few months. And really, it's a no-brainer kind of, because you have the business there. It's an unused space that hasn't been used since literally the 1990s. It's been cleaned up. They just need it for their storage. The city's gonna get tax revenue, rent out of it. I mean, to me, it's a win-win. The only thing that I wish could have happened was they could have got done sooner, but at least we're here now today. So, so I think we're helping a small business. We're getting some rent out of it, some taxes out of it. To me, I think this is a win-win.
Alderman Gouveia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can I just ask, so how did you come up with that $2,700 price tag that goes on the lease for it?
Great question. So we actually looked at the condition of the space, the possible uses of the space, looking at and coming up with a value. We had to put fire protection in that space. So we were looking at recouping that as a city. Actually, that fire protection probably should have been installed when we did the rest of the building. But like I said, this space was so rough, you really couldn't even walk in it. And I think it was just overlooked at that point in time for doing. So we're looking at, over the cost, can we get back that cost to us that we put out, which was about $9,200? And can we have some functioning use of the space, since it cannot be used for anything else without real work and investment being done?
Thank you.
Alderman Wilshire.
Thank you. I toured that space. I don't remember if it was last fall or a year ago, but it was rough. It was really rough. We had to climb over things, and yeah, I can't see using it for anything else been storage. I mean, it was that rough. But I'm sure that your maintenance department did a great job cleaning it out. It sure did need it, so thank you for that. And I think it's a good use of that space, since it was just a junk pile anyway.
Anyone else? All right, the motion is to recommend final passage. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. New business ordinances, we have none. Record of expenditures, Alderman Comon.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion that the Finance Committee has complied with the city charter and ordinances pertaining to the record of expenditures for the period from February 25th, 2022 to March 10th, 2022.
Any discussion or questions? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. General discussion. Any general discussion items? Public comment. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the committee?
Yes, Lori Ortolano.
And just your address.
Lori Ortolano, 41 Berkeley Street.
Thank you.
Just a couple of things. The riverfront project that you spoke about, and these are questions which I know I'm not gonna get answers to, but maybe an alderman later could answer me. Is this our first time doing the maintenance work or the development down there? And does Department of Public Works carry any responsibilities or any costs associated with doing the cleanup down there? I'm just curious about that. Also, I'd like to talk about the projects, the scanning project that you approved. Maybe that was the last meeting. It didn't seem to me that we really got an indication on the time frame it's gonna take to get the records up. And, you know, it's not clear to me that as records have been returned and put on the DocuWare system digitally, that any redacting has started at this point. So I'd like to know what amount of redacting work has started. And I don't mean just in the last month, I'm talking in the last year, if we've done any of that. How many people are you going to hire to do this redacting work so we can get through it? I said before, I don't agree with redactions that take off the address of the prior owner because that's information on the deed, and I recently got cards that had redactions on them on the property record card itself, which is very unusual unless a note is added that there would be anything redactable there. And, you know, it was the address, and it just makes no sense to go and do potentially 250,000 property record cards and redact that field. I would challenge that. I told the legal office I would challenge that in court before I'd spend the money paying for that. Other redactions you want to do, I get. That's fine. But I feel that we haven't even addressed the cost of that, making it happen. Ms. Kleiner had told the Finance Committee back when this was getting going that it cost, you know, the legal office was spending up to 4 hours to redact 100 pages. Well, if you're still talking now about 300,000 pages, you're still talking a tremendous amount of redaction time before the records are available. And it just seems like we can never really get a straight answer or input on that. And it always comes after there is some fight or kind of blowout that happens when the community asks and the administration
30 seconds.
Because the question was raised. So I hope that we can get some straight answers on that and know what's happening with those records and what is actually really publicly available on a digital basis. Thank you.
Any other members of the public wish to address the committee? All right. Remarks by Alderman. Alderman Tebow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since I know we don't usually do this because it's not, public comment's not really a question and answer, but since we have Mr. Cummings here, Director Cummings and Director Kleiner, is it possible to get them to maybe answer those? I think especially Mr. Cummings, I think those questions are probably pretty easy as far as like how, you know, is this the first time that was done, that this is going to be done, this cleanup, and does the Public Works have any say in it? Are those questions we can have answered, or?
Yes, if you'd like. Mr. Cummings.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the Finance Committee, Tim Cummings, Director of Economic Development. The first question, has the Doty Group done any landscaping maintenance out along the riverfront over the last few years? The answer to that is yes, they have. However, it's not been in such an organized fashion with a contract multi-year where we're going to have an expectation that they will be out there regularly maintaining the property. We made a commitment when we did the TIF that we would maintain the riverfront. Up until now, it wasn't as stabilized. We had a lot of trees removed one year. The following year, based on budget availability, we then did stump grinding. It didn't make sense to put forward such an organized contract as you initially approved this evening, because we weren't ready for it yet, but now we are. We issued the RFP. And I'm looking forward to having that ongoing regular maintenance. That's separate from the the invasive species removal that we've also done along the riverfront. That has been an ongoing 4-ish year exercise that has been led by the Community Development Department. But again, it goes to the spirit and the commitment that we would maintain the downtown riverfront because we did institute the TIF. And then to the second question about whether the DPW has any purview or jurisdiction, when we instituted the TIF, I believe it was Alderman Dowd very specifically asked the question whether any town services would be expected to take on the additional responsibilities and development that would be occurring down there. We gave a commitment at that time that we would not expect that additional burden be put on the operational budget. It would be an eligible expense through the TIF, and we're seeing through on that commitment. And so I wouldn't suggest that the DPW wouldn't have any type of purview, because I'm sure there will be stuff that comes up along the way, but we're doing the best that we can to have it done by a third party, not to put that ongoing operational expense on the operational budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is that,
Yeah, I just want one follow-up. I just want to say thank you to, I know I put Director Cummings on the spot there, but thank you for answering that.
no problem. Anyone else? Remarks by Alderman?
Oh,
Alderman Moran.
thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for having the tribute to Ukraine on Tuesday. I wasn't unable to attend, but it was, from what I saw, it was a wonderful event. I had many people reach out, and thank you for leading that.
Well, it was very well attended, and a group of aldermen came. There were many people from Ukraine who spoke and addressed people. They played the Ukrainian anthem, which was quite a moving piece of music, actually. And so overall, I thought it was very, very supportive of Ukraine and its independence and its bravery. And so I thought, I agree, it was a great event. Hopefully, they can sustain and prevail. Yes, Alderman Dowd.
I believe it should be on my website if I did it right, but I'm not great on Facebook. But I recorded the raising of the flag and the Ukrainian national anthem as it was being raised, and I hopefully put it on my Facebook account. I think it's there. If not, I can send it to anybody who wants it.
The VFW sent a delegation of people, and it was very, I thought, great to have American, veterans who clearly support and understand, what the Ukrainians are fighting for. Okay, anyone else? More alderman comments? All right. Alderman Klee is not here. Alderman Klee is not here. Alderman Moran.
I motion to adjourn.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the meeting is adjourned at 7:24 PM.